Word. Yay, we're recording. All right, so, oh, and look, Vali gets to show her face. All right, so happy August, everyone. We are chugging along this year, man. I can't believe it. It's August 4th, 2021. It's crazy. But I'm happy to see some familiar faces on this call, and I'm so excited. Chris is here, and look at that. He just popped all of his information into the chat box. So if you need to get in touch with him directly, there's his phone number and email. So I think everyone on the call probably knows you, Chris, but
you can still introduce me.
I can introduce you anyway, right?
Yeah.
I know that you go by Chris Pod, but everyone that I talk to, I just say Crazy Chris, and they all know who I'm talking about. So just so you know, that's what I call you when you're not around, Crazy Chris. But I say it to your face.
Love it.
And or obviously Chris with the twins. That's the other, most
Yep.
common description. But I was so excited when I saw you at the meetup event where Pace Morby spoke just a few weeks ago, a month and a half ago or something like that. And I know that you are working with him, you are part of his mentorship program. And I know that he just has some really cool things that he works on very specifically that are maybe different than stuff that we've already learned through our other, form of real estate education. So I really was hoping that I could just get you on here tonight and talk about some of the creative financing stuff that you've been learning, some subject to, maybe when to apply it, maybe give us some examples. So without further ado, Crazy Chris upstate. Where are you? You're Prescott? Payson?
Yeah, Prescott.
Prescott. So Prescott, Arizona, he is live on Zoom, and hopefully we are going to start meeting live again, guys, and he will actually make some more trips down here.
Right.
So with that being said, Chris, you can add to that introduction if you need to. And then just jump in. If you want to share your screen, you can. If you want us to just jump in and ask you questions, whatever format you want tonight, I leave it up to you.
Okay. Well, there's not too many people on here, so it won't really matter. So let me go ahead and
let me make sure I turned on screen sharing.
Yes, after you told me I can.
You can now. You can now.
Okay, so first off, this is a big book here for you. You can't teach a kid to ride a bike at a seminar. Okay, very good information there. That's a big one on how to talk to people, how to, basically just how to talk to them, how you want to be able to present to them and stuff like that. What you want to say, how it affects the conflicts and stuff like that. It's a very, very good book. It's a great book. I'm like second time audio listening to it through. So that's what I do. I can't read. I'm not a reader. So yes, this year, you can't teach a kid to ride a bike at a seminar by David Sandler. You'll hear about it, the Sandler method. I'm sure you probably heard about it. One being the Sandler method, the Sandler submarine, stuff of that aspect. It's really good just because it gives you a different insight on how you look at these situations when they come and talk to you. So, with that,
so now I'm interested. I've never heard of that book. I'm definitely writing that title down.
Yeah, it's a very good book. Like I said, it's on there. It's on Apple Books for like $15, and it's audio and stuff like that. Very, very great. So basically what I've been doing with Payson and his mentorship is it's creative deal structuring. It is not, I repeat, it is not just subject tos or seller financing. By the time we get done here, you will realize why it's not, and that you would never call it that again, because of, just because of everything that you're gonna, some of the things that you're gonna learn out of here, and just be like, wait, what? How is that? What? So first off, I like to, it is seller creative financing. That's his thing. but I like the spin that I put on there is creative deal structuring. The reason why is because it all depends on how you acquire the property, how you're going to disposition the property, to how you're going to disposition the property is to how you're going to acquire the property, and how you structure everything in between. Okay. Such as money, the payments, the interest, the type of loans, everything in the middle. So depending, it may be a perfect fix and flip, but it's not that kind of opportunity. It may be an opportunity that you would keep as a buy and hold, or just wholesale off to somebody. So it's a very wide range, and that's why whenever I was telling people, yeah, I'm in Pace Morby's subject to creative finance group, they're like, oh, you're just doing seller finance and subject twos. No, it's far above and beyond that. So with that being,
just so you know, I don't want you to give away, any of his secrets if
no, yeah, I know.
they're, top of the whatever. But I know at the end, I would like you to maybe share something about what, if you can, what you pay to get into that and what the specifics of that actual program are. But yeah, I love what you're saying, how it's not just subject to, and would love to hear, just a little bit of an overview of some of this deal structuring, because especially with the question we just got from Janeth, that's, I feel like,
Right.
a perfect situation where you have to think creatively and outside of the box. And that's what I know that he gets you guys to do.
Exactly. So with it, there's really quick, it's 8,000 for the course. There's another tier, I think it's like 10, I think, which is in turn you get like his build out on certain tools. But I didn't need that. I don't need that other section there. But the biggest thing is, and you've heard of Maria though too, is you don't have to pay for his mentorship. Just work with his students, and that's one of the big things. That's one of the big things that I do love about him is because he doesn't push his course. He's not pushing a course. He's just like, hey, yeah, well, I just kind of did this on the side. People were asking, and so I kind of did it. And so that's like how that's been. And since then, he doesn't push it. Maria was there when he said, yeah, don't worry about joining my course. Just, everybody that's not, sub 2 student at that meeting, what did he say? Just reach out to anybody in here. We partner up. That's what it is. I love the community because it's a knuckle down, get shit done. It's like, hey, yeah, I got another deal here. Like, we don't have that in there. It's just like, yeah, another one bites the dust, or like, hey, my goal this month is 5, closed out last month at 6, whatever. Nobody's, it's nothing, no showboating or anything like that. It's more or less like, hey, yeah, I closed another one. Let's go on to the next. Nobody's doing any sort of celebrating and stuff in there, which is really cool. But everybody's more than happy to actually reach out. You are definitely encouraged to reach out to other sub 2 students, to work out with other people. If you guys are not a part of Pace Morby's creative financing group, the free group on Facebook, it's called Creative Financing with Pace Morby. If you're not a part of that one, check that out. What that is he encourages us whenever he's on, wholesale hotline and stuff, to put our information in there. So then that way other people can reach out to us. It's so awesome. I mean, I have so many people to reach out to coast. And by doing this too, I'm helping other people structure their deals, and I'm also making money on the side out of it too. So because of that, I can help, structure, a deal for Marie, and, guess what? She can't do anything with it. She reaches out to me. Okay, great. We can become partners on that. She has a buyer for it. I'll structure the deal. Guess what? We're partners. If I don't help her out, guess what? She loses the deal. Okay, that's money out of her pocket. But if I help her out, it puts money in my pocket. We don't need to be greedy. There's so much going around. And that's what a lot of people, really don't understand, is working with others actually helps you gain a lot more momentum and a lot more traction a lot faster. So I do encourage you guys to reach out. you know, I am a source here if you guys have any sort of questions. You know, absolutely. But aside from that, deal structuring itself is one, talking with the seller, finding out what they really want and what they need, how you can actually help them out. The other side of it is the way that you're going to structure your deals. I just took, I got this deal in that I'm closing on the end of this month. ARV is 50K. Okay, ARV. I'm paying 60K. You know, I didn't have to haggle on the price. I'm paying 60K price. I didn't, you know, hey, well, how about this? How about that? No, I did nothing of the sorts. They said, well, I want to, you know, 60, 65 there. I said, okay, great. What if I can, you know, give you 70? Oh, great. That'd be cool. We wound up coming down in price because of a few things that I got to do to it and stuff. They're paying taxes and some minor repairs and stuff for it right now. And I'm like, okay, great. Well, how about I give you that at closing? So at closing that there was $5,000. So in turn, I'm actually paying 65 for it with 5,000 down. But here's the thing, it's paid off free and clear. And I'm purchasing it for 60,000 at 2% over 25 years. Okay. Well, at that rate, they are making 76K off of that. So they're making 60,000, and altogether at the end of it, they're going to be making 76,000 right there. That's their money. They're happy about it because they're making more than the 60. Okay, great. Guess what? I'm happy about it because my payment is 250 a month to the seller. Okay. So the seller gets 250 a month, right? 250 a month to the seller. Okay. I can rent that out for 850. Okay. Minus taxes, insurance, vacancy and loss, repairs, you know, all that stuff. So everything and minus that the seller payment. Okay, so minus all that, I come out to be just under 300. So we'll just call it 300. But I'm gonna make 300 a month on that. That's gonna be cash in my pocket. Now, is it going to be vacant all the time? No. You know, if I get a good tenant in there, guess what? That's extra bonus money that I won't have to deal with. But it will also go towards repairs and stuff like that. So 300 is an actual good number. Guess what? So they're making 76,000 at 250 a month for 25 years, right? You want to know what I'm going to make on this? 90K at 25 years. Okay. From that 300, just from that 300 right there. So I'm making that rent right there off that rental. So
Okay, quick question. Did you say you're giving them a down payment? What was the $5,000 again?
the $5,000 was essentially a down payment because they're paying the property taxes and the few minor repairs that need to be done. They're paying for that up front, and they just wanted a quick recovery on that. So I said, okay, great. We're still at 65,000. I just told them that I would give them 5,000 down.
Okay, so you're purchasing it for 65. You're
Right.
giving them 5.
And I'm
You're
financing it.
financing them with 60.
Yep.
And you might go into this, but what if they wanted more money? I mean, what if they needed more money? I need
For what? On a
As a
down?
down payment.
a down payment. I'm in trouble. I mean, I don't, yeah.
It depends. That's right. That's what we're under contract for right now. This is a deal that we're under contract for.
Yeah, I
So
guess that would go to their motivation and the fact that if they needed more money up front, they might then have to take the lower, like all cash offer because they just need to sell the property. These people probably don't just need cash, so they're willing to take the $5,000 down and finance it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's why it's so important, you know, to really understand their particular situation. Like Rochelle said to Janet before, you got to make sure that you understand what your seller is looking for and what their goals are.
Yeah.
Right. So Chris, maybe you can give us just even a little bit more information on like why they were willing to accept this, or kind of like the particulars of the negotiation with this.
Well, this one here, they were moving, or they had moved, and it was just another property that they had, and it was too far for them. They didn't want to do away with, they just wanted to be away with it. Well, they knew that they could still make money on it itself, and they're not hurting for the money, but they were interested in selling this property. And it was funny because it just kind of came up in a conversation that, somebody had talked to me about this when I was talking to another seller, and they were like, oh, hey, well, like, what can you do? What? Hey, I have a property that I might be looking at selling. And I'm like,
Okay,
great.
so
Like,
that was gonna be my question, how you acquired it. Is it local or is it one of the ones that's far away?
it's far away, and I got it off of seller financing.
Seller financing what.com? I mean, what do you mean?
No, seller financing. I got it through talking to a seller.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah, I got it through talking to a seller, and I asked them what they're looking for. Well, I'm looking at, I want to get like 65, 70 for it. I'm like, great. What if I can give you that? So the biggest thing is that when I'm asking them and talking to them, it's a much easier conversation just to find out what it is that they need and what they're looking to do. Okay, because guess what? Then you start finding out. Okay, right now I'm in talks with another with somebody else that I'm teaming up with. Well, that it might be if I could get to talk to the seller. But this property has been listed since 2019. Okay, they want $739,000. But the partner that I'm talking to, they said, well, they would be willing to sell it for 539 to the right person. Okay, well, it doesn't really sound like they're really motivated. Well, they say that they are because the seller themselves are very, very sick. I haven't talked to the seller yet. I'm trying to get this partner to, is reaching out to me to get me on the phone with the seller so I can actually find out. Because, I'm being told 739, ARV is about 850. And I'm like, okay, 739 doesn't work. Okay, but they were saying 539. I'm like, okay, well, that'll work. That's a number that'll work. I can work with that. Because then what I can do is that, okay, so this situation, let me go up here. So we'll look at this situation here, this property now. Okay, so seller wants 739. Okay, right? That's not going to work. I'll just leave 850 up here. So that isn't going to work, but possibly they might do 539 for whatever reason. I have no idea. So I'm like, okay, great. 539 is going to be a better one, depending, because of what you want to do with the rehab. So they came in, and this partner here came in and said, well, I'm looking at 49K as a rehab. Well, it's a 3,000 square foot property, right? Who knows a very simple way for calculating a rehab? Anybody know a very simple basic? It's kind of like getting a quick mail on the whole situation. And if you guys have been listening to Jamil, you guys would know.
There's different numbers out there, $1.25 a square foot, $1.50 a square foot.
Right. Well, Arizona itself right now is usually about 35, 45, and about 55. Okay. This is a mild, medium, and a
Those
high.
are your numbers, Marie.
Okay.
Are you saying 35K or you're saying 35
These are dollars, just $35
per square foot?
Yeah. So what you do is you take that and then you just times that by the square footage of the house. Square foot, whatever. So such as if you got a 2,500 square foot house, 2,500 times 35, that's going to give you an 8750. $87,000 square foot for a mild repair. Now, if you do a 45 times that same 2,500. That's going to be 112. 112,500, whatever. And then you do basically 55 times that same square footage. Oops. And that there's going to give you about 137. 500.
So now you're sitting there going, why is this only 49,000?
Exactly. So that's what I'm kind of looking at. Okay. And these numbers here, I just did on a 2,500 square foot, and I should have just used the 3,000, but still you guys get the idea. So I'm like, okay, well, first off, your rehab there, I don't care if it's 3,000 square foot. I don't care. That's, you know, that's going to be pretty wrong, especially for what they were telling me. And so they didn't even, they were, you know, blown away just by this. It's like, this is just something basic. I'm like, these are Arizona numbers. If you ever listen and look at Jamil, this is what he goes by. Him and Pace will actually walk properties together, and Jamil will have it done in about 5 minutes. Pace will sit there and do a whole deal analyzer and everything like what we do. And they come out to be, you know, roughly about $5,000 to $10,000 difference. And this is something that you guys might want to try too. Try it, walk your property, go ahead and walk your property, do your deal analyzer or your repair estimator, and then do this up here. Do the you know, I guess, I don't know, whatever the round, you know, round it to by the square footage. Round it by the square footage and see how close your numbers are. And then that way, then too, you also know though too, looking at it, you're like, hey, here's a mild rehab. Here's more of a medium. I might have to take out a wall or something. This is going to be probably more of a complete gut. Okay. So over here, back to that deal, I'm like, okay, 739 doesn't do anything, especially if you want to do some sort of rehabbing to it. Doesn't need it. I haven't seen pictures of the inside. I'm just going by what somebody else is saying because I'm helping them structure this deal. And so by this, I'm like, well, we can get it at the 539 and we can do what's called a novation. Basically, the seller, okay, this is how a novation works. There's more to it, but this is a basic rundown. Seller keeps the property. Okay. You're going to pay the 539. You're agreeing to pay them that. So the seller wants the 539, but you have to do the work to it. So you can pay them this, and they're going to still maintain possession of the property. And this is where it comes. It's like I said, is the creative side, the creative deal structuring. Okay, how is this going to work, right? So seller, you're gonna maintain the property. Maria, you're gonna maintain this property. It's gonna stay in your name. So it's gonna stay right there in Marie's name. Okay. You want 539. I'm going to go ahead and come in with my guys, my money to do the rehab of, you know, whatever, 120,000, 120K. We don't need to do too terribly much. When we sell it, we're going to go ahead and turn around and sell this for 850. And the thing is that from the whole beginning, you're just giving them what they want. This is a deal how you can make where you're not having to finance and purchase the whole property right out front. So we're going to do that ARV of 850, right? So we're in contract here. Okay. This is what I'm projecting that we're going to be doing. Okay. So the 539 minus, let's just call it 539 minus 850. Okay, that gives us 439 is a difference. It is a different split between their 459, right? So that's going to be our split right there. Is that 459? Okay, well now we still got to come in with the repairs and everything, and so we're going to add in. I'm going to come in with the 120 for the repairs for the rehab. I'm going to go ahead and also pay because I want the seller to agree to this for that 6 months, Maria. I'm going to go ahead and pay that let's just say $2,000 for, is what your mortgage is. I'm gonna go ahead and pay that $2,000 for the, which is the mortgage during the rehab of 6 months, right? So how is this whole thing coming out? What would you normally have to come into this whole deal with? 539 plus your rehab, 120, and let's just say another 50 for miscellaneous stuff. Okay, so we'll make that one 540. Keep it round. So 540, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 11, 6, 7. So we would have to come in 7. Geez, I can't write today. 7, 10 is going to be what we have to come in and bring in, right? Well, 710 is what we're going to have to come in and bring in, and for what, an 850. So that's what, 140 split, 140 split, right? Yeah. So that there would be $140,000 profit that we're looking at. So let me ask you this: how many are you going to be able to get this number right here? The 710. What percentage are you also going to be looking at, even if it is hard money? Okay. What else do you have? You got your points. You got your origination fees. You know, all your other fees. Okay. That's why I threw in the other 50 grand there. You know, so you have all that. Okay. Now remember, you got to pay $2,000 for the next 6 months. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay. So we got another 12,000 in there, right? Because we got to pay that the whole time. So we're actually at 722, right? So that's $722,000 that you got to come to the table with. What if all you came to the table with was 120 and you only paid interest on the 120? What do you want to do? You want to get all the money, take possession of the property, hold it, and have to pay all those extra taxes and all that stuff to get that? Because remember, you still gotta come in, pay off that mortgage and everything, and take care of all that stuff. I would rather come in and just pay the 120 for the interest, or with the interest, with the property plus the let's just let's throw the 12 in there too, so 132. So we got the 132 is going to be that total, because we're going to pay that guy's mortgage at the same time that we're doing the repairs, right? So we got $132,000. $132,000 financed, even at 12%, is still a lot cheaper than 720 at 12%. Right? So why not let the seller be your bank on this? Seller's going to keep their money in place at the 539, 540. We'll just call it 540. The seller's going to keep their money in place there at 540. Their benefit is that they're getting to keep that extra $2,000 monthly payment that you're making for them. They're keeping that in their pocket. So at the end of the deal, they're actually up what? 12,000? One more. They're actually up 12,000. Pretty nice little bonus there, right? For them to incentive to keep their money in, and for them not to do a direct sell. So now you turn around and sell that. You have the original lien for the 539 that you're creating with the seller for the because of the contract. So yeah, the 539 that 540 that you're selling to them. Okay, for the 540, and you have your payment of the 132 for your rehab and all that other stuff, right? So then now $540 plus 132 equals $672 is going to be your overall total. So if that's what you actually spent into this property, right? At the end of the deal, when it's being sold, you got to pay out the 540 here. You got to pay back your lender there. That's going to be a total of 672. Now, when you do this at 850, that's now what? 178,000 as a profit. What did you actually pay interest on? You're only paying monthly interest on this, but yet you can structure this deal however it is that you want. Now,
so
when I
Chris,
say, yeah,
sorry. So specifically, as far as structuring this deal, are you using a purchase and sale agreement up front with a note to the buyer, or you're saying it's staying in their name? So is there like a contract for deed for a later date? Like, what are those specific? And then I don't know if you're doing a split of that profit.
so what you're actually doing is writing an equitable title, equitable interest title in there.
Okay.
Okay. So what you're actually doing is you're writing basically a note in there saying that you have equitable interest in that property. You're bringing money in, you're doing this fix. You have every right to that property is what the same thing as the seller does. Okay. Essentially, it's not a mechanics lien because that just says that they have that they got to get paid. But an equitable title, equitable interest title means that you have the same right, same as seller. So that means that you have the same right as the seller. You have every right to be in there. You have everything to do. So that's
Is
where
this a recorded document?
Yes, this is all recorded into title. So it goes, all this goes into title, and it's recorded in there under that whole property. This one here, you're probably gonna have to pay, you know, whatever it is, maybe $2,000 to put that, you know, to put an equitable title on there. So, but it's worth it.
But now, do you also have a lien for the 539 or that 540 purchase price? Like, is that a promissory note or something with the original seller?
Essentially, it's just a promissory note. Okay. The reason why is because you're in contract to sell this at 539. You're in contract to sell this to the seller at for 539 or buy it off. I'm sorry, at 539. Okay. That's what your contract is basically, hey, I promise to pay you the 539. Da 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 da. Okay. That there then again is also then recorded at title. So that's there. And so with that, the biggest reason for doing this type of deal, this novation here, is so you don't have to come in with this full amount here. This here would be the amount that you're coming in with. So
Okay, so
it's for
on
tighter,
that-
it's for tighter margins. So instead of
Yeah.
going through and having to pay all that extra to try to raise up all that money and the capital, hard money and stuff like that, you can utilize a private money for your smaller amount for your rehab.
And now the difference, so you said this would be an 850 ARV and you're only 672 into it, maybe some plus some interest and whatever, but
Yeah, so
that,
let's just try to make that 700 then.
yeah,
Just
so
make
so
it
then
round.
are you splitting that 150K with the owner, or are you just still only giving them that 539 because that's what you promised them on the promissory note?
Just at 539.
Just the
Okay.
539. So the
Now,
rest
if
at
they say,
150.
if they say, well, you can get more for that. I know, you know, you're gonna get, you know, 850 or so. Okay, hey, look, sir. Okay, look, Marie, if I get more than 825, anything above 825, I will split with you 50-50 as a bonus. Now, I have no reason to try to get 800 or 825 or anything like that. You know, I still want to try to get as max as I can. So if I can sell it for 850, guess what? That 25K, we split 12.5 12.5. That's also more incentive for them to keep their money in play there too. And that's what I mean. You could structure this whole deal up however you want. You know, they want, you know, let's say they want 10K down now. Okay, you can do that. If they want 20K down, you can do that. You could sit there and say, I'm not going to give you anything. I'll give you, let's just say I'll give you 600 on the backside. You want 540, I'll give you 600. Okay, great. So then now again, I'm not having to pay interest or anything on this money here. So that's that 600 that the seller's already got in there. So when I'm all said and done, now I'm into it for the 130. So that's 730. I'm still making 120K on that. Even if I'm giving them 600. So it's the power of being able to structure these deals in various ways that gives it the power of you know, essentially your negotiation tactics.
Yeah. That
And yeah,
equitable interest title, Chris, do you know, is that only good for like a certain period of time or something? Like, do you have to complete that flip and sell it within an allotted time frame or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
No and yes. Why? Because guess what? I'm going to go ahead and do this with you, Maria. 6 months is going to be my time. If I go over that, I will then I continue to, you know, obviously I'm going to have to continue to make that $2,000 payments, which means that's still, again, more money in your pocket. So again, that's another $2,000 that's back into your pocket.
Okay, let's talk about that super quick, because this is my question about that. You guys, you're equitable partners, and so in this scenario, you're paying that $2,000. Well, what if you stop paying it and the house starts going into foreclosure because you can't afford it? Number one, or number two, what if they're paying it? How can you guarantee that if this isn't the deal where, you know, they're still paying it for some reason, that they're still paying it, so you're protected?
One, the insurance, you know, first off, you're always going to put insurance on any property. Okay. First off, but two, if I've got equitable EQ title and I still have full rights to that property, I can still do whatever I want with that. I still have a ownership of equitable title. Okay, so Liz, you buy a house, Liz house, in your name, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you come in and add on your husband. Sorry, handwriting sucks. You come in and add on your husband. Okay, now he is on title now too, right? He is now basically on title just because of you. He had nothing to do with this, no scoring, no nothing. It's equitable title. He still has every right to that property as much as you do.
Yeah, I think Liz is asking though, like if you're paying them $2,000 a month and let's say they still have a mortgage on it, are you paying that through escrow to make sure that the mortgage payment is being paid so they're not kind of like screwing you over at some point?
Oh yeah, yes. Everything's going through, everything goes through title. Okay, Liz is going to loan me the 150 on this property, right? To do the rehab. She's gonna be my partner in it. Guess what? She's gonna send that into title. And then it's going to come into me. So guess what? Now, because she paid this into title, she is now a lien holder on that. That is actually there. So when I go through to sell this on the back end, that money still has to be paid off.
Right.
So everything you do goes through there. So guess what? You know, bank, you know, the bank goes in, I make those, you know, mortgage payments. I'm making that 2K to the bank for that mortgage. It doesn't go to the seller. It goes to the bank, not to the seller. If they want $10,000 up front, you can do $10,000 up front. Again, you're writing that into contract. So with these contracts, you can write anything that you want. Because here's the number one thing. You know what a contract is? Who can really tell me what a contract is?
Well, it's a promissory. It's a promise for one thing to another. It's, yeah.
It's a set of instructions for the title company. That's all it is. Who has the ultimate say in anything there? The title company or attorney, whichever state that you're in. So they actually have full control of that. What they write is bonding. But that's all a contract is. A contract is just a set of instructions for title. So guess what? Do you think I can write every time I'm in Phoenix, Liz buys Chris sushi? Yes, I can. I can actually put that in a contract. You sign off on it. It goes into title. It doesn't matter. We can write up anything that we want. That's the beauty part of this whole creative financing. So again, I can take all this, take all this money here. So that 2,000 there is going into the bank. The 2K that's going into the bank. It doesn't go into the seller. But guess what? It technically is, because guess what? Is that seller having to pay the bank? No, we're making that payment. That money just gets to stay in the seller's pocket. So is that more interesting to be able to pay that mortgage for them to be able to keep, for you to be able to do a structure like this?
Yeah, that's what I thought, that then you're gonna pay the mortgage, so you don't have
I'm not-
worries.
Yeah, I'm not paying them anything.
Because you're paying the mortgage, basically.
Exactly. I'm going to go ahead and pay that bank mortgage, and the seller isn't getting anything out of there, so they're not getting it. They just get to keep their own money. Okay. So that's essentially what, how innovation works. So
now, Chris, just out of curiosity, how does the insurance work on that process? Do you get added to their existing homeowners insurance, or do you have to pull a separate policy for the rehab portion, I guess, that's about to take place? Do you know the specifics of that?
Yeah. No, I don't have to be added to their insurance. I don't have to. Because guess what? You know what I can do, Marie? I can take out $100,000 insurance policy on you. I don't need your approval. I don't need your permission. So I can put it on, I'm going to put my own insurance policy, my insurance on that house.
Just for what your equitable interest is, or maybe like equal to the amount of the 100
for my money.
So
Right.
Chris, how many of these people that you're working with are actually in arrears, are not paying the mortgage when you start?
It depends. Like this guy here, he doesn't have any arrears. He doesn't have anything behind.
So this process works if it works for the homeowner, basically.
Yeah, if you can wait for your money, Gail, if you can wait for your $540, wait for your money, I will make that $2,000 a month payment to the bank, and that $2,000 that you be paying is to stay with Gail.
Well, and I guess in that scenario too, they have to move out if
Right.
you're rehabbing the house. So
Right.
now they have to come up with, so if you're paying the mortgage of $2,000, then what they're essentially saving, I mean, they're getting something else, or they're saying to you, I need $10,000 up front because I'm buying this house. You paying that mortgage is fine because I need to pay rent or mortgage on wherever I'm moving into.
Yes, exactly. So
Yeah.
you can always, they may have another place, again, it all depends on the deals. So I will tell you this right now. Okay, traditional wholesale, you start off here and just go right to there because there's nothing else in the middle. You're putting it under contract. You're going to put it under contract, sell the contract, and then get paid. And then it's just over there to the back end. With creative deal structuring, with this whole sub 2 creative deal structuring, is there's no straight line to it. Okay, you have to, as a wholesaler, you have to come in at the 70, at the 70 cents, on the dollar, or 60 cents or 50, whatever it is, wherever you're at, because that does vary everywhere. So instead of coming in, you have to come in at 70 on the dollar to sit there and try to make any sort of deal. So a $300,000 house has to come down to 220 roughly, right there, right? So as a wholesaler, you have to get that there, okay? And then you can add on your fee plus your 10 to whatever, and then sell it to this guy, the end flipper for 230, right? So now you made your money. I can put my money into it and still make money back. That's how a basic wholesale deal works. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. With the whole creative financing here, it can go any multitudes of ways to be able to get to that point. Guess what? Can you do VA loans? Yes, I can work with those. I can do, sub 2s on those. I can do wholesales on those. I can do, multitudes of things. There's loan mods. Loan mods, loan modifications. There's refinancing.
Chris, do you find with these that you usually have to, give them a chunk of money to be able to move out, to get a new place, or an incentive, basically? I mean, obviously they're getting more for their property than they would normally would, if they sold it at a discount, but, almost like a balloon payment, now, and a balloon payment later. And obviously would help with someone's credit if they had poor credit, but
Yes. So essentially, this doesn't work for everybody. It really doesn't. I've talked to people. I want my 500K. I want my 500K. That's it. No ifs, ands, or buts. Seller finance? No. Take a lease option? No. Sub 2? No. Pay half, half price, half down and then carry the rest. No, they want 500 now. Okay.
and then it has to be retail, I guess, if they're not willing
Yeah,
to.
but they don't want to deal with the realtors. Okay, fine, great. That doesn't matter to me. Where do these creative deals work? Rochelle, do you have let's see. Do you have shitty tenants? Do you have tenants that aren't paying that you always have to call them up and remind them?
No, I've been fortunate. I only have 3 rentals and they've all been good. So hopefully they'll stay that way.
Okay, so right now you don't have any paying. What are you looking to do with selling this property? What
Yeah.
do you need to want or
Yeah.
don't?
That changes it,
Yeah, exactly. If you need to, okay, there's your motivation.
Mhm.
Why do you have to sell it? Well, because you got shitty tenants.
Mhm.
Shitty tenants. Medical emergencies. family, whatever it is. Okay, so it all depends. Now, is this pain? Is all this down here pain? Yeah. Well, if there's no pain, then there's really nothing to do. I just turn around and follow back up with them. And that's why I say it all depends. We could sit here and go through, a deal like this novation, and go over the various ways of how I can structure this. I can structure this, 100 different ways. But until you can really find out what's going on with them, their pain, their motivation, their reasons, whatever, you don't know how to structure this. That's why creative deal structuring is probably a better aspect of this, because what's your pain and motivation here? Man, you're behind 6 months. Okay, you're behind in payment 6 months. Okay, well, how about I help you out there? Because guess what? What's going to happen? Who's going to get the house? The bank or who? Me. The bank or me is going to get the house. You don't make those payments, the bank's going to come in and take that right back from you. Or I can come in, help you out, pay your 6 months, be able to turn around and pay that 6 months that you're behind, save your credit, so I can pay those behinds, help you get set up for a new place, set you up in a new place to help you out, new home, let you stay there for 2-3 months, whatever, 2 to 3 months. Okay. Help you again, help you find the place and possibly put some cash in your pocket. What's the bank going to do? Is the bank going to do any of this here for you? No, the bank's just going to come by and take the keys from you and kick you out and call it good. And
Chris,
so
what are you saying to them to find out their, some people, what are you saying to find out their pain and motivation? Like, how are you? Because, I think, that denial can come in. Oh, I'm really not that bad yet. Like, how are you getting that out of them? What's happening there?
That's just having the conversation with them. I'm just asking the same questions, but in such a strategic manner. If you, a lot of it, you'll get out of that book in the beginning that I was telling you about, with the Sandler method. And because of that, you'll get a better understanding of what it is that you're actually saying and why. Okay. So you sit there and Liz demands something from me. She demands $200,000. Well, okay, great. How would you, how do I go about doing giving you $200,000? Okay. Well, that scenario right there, I'm putting you in control of the situation. How am I supposed to come up and give you $200,000? How do you want me to give you the $200,000?
It goes back to never split the difference, right? It's all about the wording and the play on words and reframing it and letting them.
Right. And that's exactly it. That's what I'm getting. Yeah. That's what I'm kind of getting at. Like, so first, is this somebody you found? So when you found them, or are they finding you? And when, how's that conversation starting off to get them to, so.
Guess what? You send me a referral. You send me to somebody, I call them up. Hey, how's it going? Where did you and Liz leave off? Well, she was saying that she could offer me $250 for the house. Okay, that's too low for me. Okay, great. Seller, what do you want there, seller? Okay, well, I was looking more along the lines of 300. Okay. So, I got the notes from you that says 100K in repairs, and then you said about about let's just, we'll call it good. We'll say 425. So we don't have much room in this to make a deal here. So we'll say that it was 425 as an ARV, and the 100K would be a very mild, being very, very conservative on this repair. So we have a 425, they want 300 itself. Okay, great. Now, does this work as really doing a flip? No. But what's really wrong with the house here, seller? Well, really nothing. It does need some updating itself. Okay, just like what, paint, floor and stuff like that. Okay, great. We'll drop that down to 30K. And then how about we turn around and we just make this a rental? Okay, because guess what? Let's just say that the ARV is 425. Okay, their mortgage is $1,000. $1,000 mortgage, right? Okay, that they still owe for the, let's just call that, let's be generous, Joe, let's call that 250 that they still owe. Okay, so they're wanting, $50,000 there. Well, one, you can give them the $50,000 and call it good and take it over and continue to do that. But what if I just turn around and go, okay, great, I can do the $30,000 into this, keep it as a rental because the mortgage itself is 15, and let's say rent is 18. Okay, now 18 from the 1,000, that's $800. That's the mortgage right there. Let's take off another 100 for the insurance, another 100 for the vacancy and repairs and stuff that we need, for regular stuff. Okay, so then now we're down to 600 on that. Okay, so now I'm profiting 600 on this. Janeth, do you want a property that's going to cash flow you $600 a month?
Yes.
Okay, I want a $10,000 assignment fee, right? So Janeth is going to go ahead and pay this to me. She's got this whole house that's cash flowing 600 for $10,000. What am I doing with this deal? I am seller financing to Janeth, utilizing what they still owe to the bank, right? And the seller's extra money, the extra 50K that they wanted, right? So I'm actually seller financing this for that 300 to Janeth, and I'm taking a $10,000 fee. What did I just do here? I locked up this contract, right? It works. It works. It flows. You don't even have to do the 30, you put the 30K in there. But guess what? She says that she wants it. She'll put the 30K into it itself. My assignment fee is going to be the 10K right here. What did I just do with this deal?
You just wholesaled it to yourself.
No, I just wholesaled it to Janeth,
Oh, to not, yeah.
right? So now she's got this rental that she paid me 10K for. She didn't have to go to the bank. She didn't have to go to the bank. She didn't have to get credit or anything. She didn't have to put down, 25, whatever it is, 25%, whatever it is, 15, 25%, whatever it is for your down, because it's not a residency. It is a rental. So remember, it's an investment. So that goes up. So did you have to pay any of that? No, she just paid me that 10K fee, and I just did a wholesale deal to her for this whole thing. Creative financing. Again, there's different ways of structuring these deals. Okay, depending on the pain and the motivation and their time and their price. Okay, so again, even if they said, let's say they owed the 425. Let's just say it was 425. but they can do it at 1,000, 1,000 is that, but rental rates are 1,800. Okay, great. She's still minus everything. She's making 600 there. Again, I can still turn around and sell this to her for 10 grand. And guess what? I don't even care in my eyes what this makes, what the cost of this is. Okay, so let me do this then. Who wants okay, who wants a property that's going to cash flow $600 a month in their pocket?
Me,
I'll take one.
Okay. Well, are you willing to pay me 10K?
yes.
Okay. Do you want to, is there anything else you want to know about this property?
What it rents for.
Okay. We can do that.
Well, you don't even care. He's saying it's $600 a month cash flow anyway. I would want
Exactly,
to
that's
know
what
if
I
it's
mean.
gonna, is it gonna appreciate at all?
So, yeah,
Okay.
well, we all know that it is. So 600 a month and I want 10K. Are you willing to pay me 10K for that property? Yes. So the, let's say the mortgage, the remaining balance on that is 1.2 million. Do you still want that property? Who doesn't want that property now? Good, because all that matters is the cash flow. Guess what? This whole deal itself is structured out in 1.2 times 50 years at 3%, which comes out to be, let's just call it $2.5 million. But you're cash flowing in pocket 600. That's already after your taxes and everything. That's cash flow in your pocket. See what I mean? It doesn't matter what this price is or what this price is, because it's still going to cash flow right there. I care what that is. Guess what? What else am I doing? I get the depreciation. There's people out there that will take and they purchase properties accordingly to depreciation. Okay. They will take all this depreciation, and let's say that they make 1.5 million a year, right? But business write-offs and depreciation and everything comes out that they made 50K for the year. Now they're only paying taxes on that. Versus the 1.5. There's people that focus on this type of strategy too. So it doesn't matter what you make, but you have to do that. Okay, so we all see these stupid, all these rich, super bloating rich people, right? And they're a gold McLaren. They have a 200-foot freaking yacht.
Just so you know, my husband's McLaren is red.
Oh yeah, that's right, huh? So you got that.
I do not have a 200-foot yacht though. I'm not that rich.
Right. So then the point is that, and then they, buy land to put a stupid house on. And I know this for a fact because when I was in my building days, there's a place out in Gold Canyon. If you guys are familiar with Gold Canyon, there's a house on top of this one hill. It's the only house out there. Brand new piece of land. We were on the project all the way through. The funny thing is that when I actually met the developer that was there, I just asked one simple question. Is this somebody famous or just somebody with stupid amounts of money? He said, yes. Is there somebody that's stupid amounts of money? I'm like, wow. He goes, you know how long they're going to be here for? I go, what? 2 weekends out of the year. This big ass freaking house that you could park a whole crap load of stuff in.
I have seen that.
Okay. Why? Because they have to spend money. Because the more money that they have in the bank, the more that they have to pay taxes on. So guess what? If you have a $1 million and you put, 1 million and you put 900,000 into everything else, then what are you being taxed on? You're only being taxed on that 100,000. That's why they're always out there buying stupid stuff, investing it in other things. Because as long as they don't have that money liquid in their hands, it's just everything is just asset based. That's why you can sit there and be a millionaire. You can be a millionaire and make 50K a year because you're dispersing all the rest of your money into everything else. And yet you, at the end of it, you're only being taxed on that 50K. Guess what? You're not paying taxes on the rest of everything because that's not in your bank. And that's why the rich people do that. So let's see, who's got another deal? So, okay, really quick. So do we understand that start to finish, there is several different ways to get there. A to B, okay? You have A here and you have B over here, okay? Guess what? There's a mountain. There's a mountain right there. Can't go through that, right? So we got to go up and around, okay? Now there's a big tree. Okay, then we got to go up and around that. And then, there's a big, gap over here, big old cliff gap. Okay, now we got to figure out how to go and get across that. Okay, so forth and so forth. But it's still another way to get to B, as long as we still get to B, which is A, we're in contact with the seller, and B, we're closing a deal. Creative deal structuring is figuring all this out, how you're going to go from here. And then you may have to do other things such as, okay, great, I cannot assume this loan, this loan that's here, I can't assume it. So guess what I got to do? I don't want to give you any money. Go get it, refi your house, and then I'll come in and I'll take it over sub 2. Guess what? Seller gets their money out of their house, and I get a property with a whole brand new loan and everything, with a brand new 30-year loan that I can still cash flow. As long as I can cash flow on that, okay, then I've still got a deal. So then seller got their money, I got a house, and I'm cash flowing. So the biggest thing with these deals is trying to figure out how to get from A to B, because there's so many different ways. Is there pain? Is there pain? No. Okay, we can go through that. We just go over that. Okay, what do they need help with? Okay, they have a financials. Okay, so there's no pain. Okay, so there's no pain, but they do have some financials. So we got to go through that and figure that out. Okay, disposition. How can we make money? Okay, how can we make money? Okay, well, once we figure that out, then we're another step closer. Okay, is every house going to be a fix and flip? No. Guess what? Hey, Maria, I got this house, in downtown Phoenix would be perfect. I don't know shit about Airbnbs. You want it? It's, take a look at it. Guess what? What do I do there? I can make money by wholesaling that, you know, that property to Marie for money to cash flow. Do I want to deal with Airbnbs? No. Marie does Airbnbs. Okay, so Marie does Airbnbs. Okay, guess what? Did I get it all the way through there? Did I take care of the seller's financial issues? Yes. Did I make money? Yes. Did I wholesale it out so Maria can make money on the back end? Yes. Did we actually come to an end there? So we started and we ended, right? So again, there's just all these different ways to go through there. Is there pain? Yes. Then, and there's no financial issues, but there's pain. You know, they tired, you know, they're old, you know, they're old. They want to retire. Okay. Guess what? Do people have families, right? People have families, right? They usually have, you know, kids, grandkids, great grandkids. Okay. So a lot of times people don't understand though either what goes on with these deals. Okay. So they want, you know, all their cash out right now. Well, you know, I can give you some money right now up front and, you know, let me make payments to you on the rest. Okay. But what happens? What happens there? What happens if they die before the house is paid off? Guess what? They're going to make a trust that's going to go to the kids or to the grandkids or to the great grandkids. Because guess what? Even though I'm making payments on this house, guess what I still have to do? Even though they die, the owner dies, even if I take over the mortgage in a subject to, you think it matters if they die? No, because I still have to make those payments to the bank, to the trust, to wherever, right? So this is the biggest problem that people, you know, see is like, well, yeah, I want to get out of here. I'm tired of dealing with these tenants, but they want to get all the money out. They want to get it all. Well, I don't want to pay them all, but guess what? I can give you some so you can be happy and you can be making money along the way. And guess what? Again, when you die, then it just continues over here. It's not like you die and I get to, I don't have to make payments anymore. It doesn't even matter if it's seller financing. Because that house is still owned by somebody. What happens if the house that I have, you know, is owned by somebody? Well, guess what? If we're doing a seller finance and I'm still making payments to somebody, guess what? If that seller dies, who do I have to pay? Okay, well, who's taking over the estate, their affairs, their funds, their, you know, everything else that they have? Guess what? The kids. And guess what? So then now my money that I'm paying goes in over here because they died. But I still have to pay this because there's a contract in place. There's title. There's nothing in these titles that say you die, I don't have to pay. There's nothing that in these contracts that say that. So there's nothing that we're taking over here. We still have to fulfill that original contract. We still have to fulfill that original contract. But what happens if I disappear? If I get abducted by aliens, right? If I get abducted by aliens, okay, I get abducted by aliens and they go and take off and stuff, I'm never to be found. Well, guess what? What happens? They get the property back. What about the money I paid them? They keep that. What about all the repairs I did? They keep that too. I stopped forfeit, I just forfeit my payments. They get the house back. They keep it. Okay, so what is it that they have to lose? Really nothing, right? Again, there's so many ways to structure these deals. That's why I don't, I quit calling it creative financing, because there's so many different ways to structure these deals. Okay, that's why I like to call it creative deal structure, because how you acquire is going to be dependent upon how you disposition. And how you disposition is going to be depending on how you acquire.
Chris, are you finding any rules of thumbs on like how much a end buyer is willing to pay on a wholesale fee, depending on the cash flow or the deal structure?
There is no set parameter. There's no 70%. There's no formula for that. You just throw it out there. People will be like, hey, I'll give you 10 grand. And you're like, well, I want 15. Oh, I'll give you 10 grand for it. Okay, great. Sold.
Yeah, is 10 kind of your personal kind of rule?
I
of
want
thumb?
to at least
Definitely
make
not?
10. Yeah, I want to at least make 10.
Yeah.
So here's the other thing too. Who wants to see a really cool deal? Here's a really good one. So the ARV is, we'll just go 300. They owe 300. Mortgage is say 2,000. Okay. Rent is 2,000. And they're 110% motivated to sell you. Okay. Does anybody understand how these deals here don't work? Why they can't turn around, why this person cannot turn around and sell it with a realtor? People understand that? I see you shaking your head, Marie. Well, the point is that ARV is 300. They owe 300. They're going to have to pay, 30,000 for, 30,000 for realtor fees. I didn't mean 30%, but realtors and fees, right? So what
Not
does that
enough
leave?
money in it.
What does that leave them? 270, correct? So that means that the seller is going to have to pay. Is going to have to pay 30K to sell their house. Okay, so we can all agree that there is not a deal, right? That doesn't even work there, right? Well, you want to see how I can make money on that? 300 is the price, is the ARV. Okay, 2,000 is 2K is the payment, right? So let's say I do this. Gail, is Gail still in here?
Wait, what do you mean payment? Is it the down payment? Is it
No,
the
no,
mortgage
it's the
payment?
it's the mortgage payment. Sorry.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm still here. Where
Okay.
I'm confused is you got 2,000 mortgage payment and 2,000 possible total rents. And you're gonna have some times when the place isn't rented, you're gonna lose your renter every once in a while.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
that's
it's great while they're paying the mortgage for you, but there's gonna be those months where I guess it doesn't look like it cash flows anywhere. So how do you get the cash flow?
exactly. So the mortgage is 2,000. The rent is 2,000. Right. So there's no money to be made. So because that there all cancels out. Even if I own that, guess what? If I own that, then what do I have to do? I still have to pay insurance. I still have to pay taxes. I still have to pay the vacancy and repairs, right? Okay, so obviously that doesn't work because I'm not making any money. So that whole thing just does not work. So what I'm talking about here is that, okay, now I'll still take this property. It doesn't cash flow, right? 300,000 doesn't cash flow, no rent, no nothing like that. But here's what I'm going to go ahead and do. So the mortgage payment itself is, let's say well, it is 2,000, but we'll put it at, let's say 2%, right? That's a pretty good rate for today. So that's their overall setup here. $300,000 house, ARV, that's what they owe. And $2,000 is the mortgage payment / what rent would be. So there's obviously no cash flow. But here's what I'm going to go ahead and do. I'm going to look for a particular buyer on this. Okay. What I mean by this particular buyer is I'm looking for an end buyer. Hey, Gail, how's your credit?
Well, my credit's pretty good, but
Okay.
so what I'm hearing you say is there's buyers out there that are just buying properties to hold, mostly for tax purposes.
No.
No. Okay. Sorry.
well, this is gonna
So-
be a tenant buyer that can't necessarily get the best loan, doesn't
Well,
have.
it's not going to be a
credit.
tenant buyer. It's going to be what's called a wrap buyer. Okay. What I'm going to do here is, okay, so Gail, no offense, your credit is 500, but you've been working at the dealership for 10 years. You're good for it. You're just going through times and everything, but you make pretty good money. You just got shitty credit. And let's say, hey, Gail, can you afford, let's say, 2,200? Can you afford $2,200 a month, Gail?
Sure. Why not?
Okay, so Gail can make this for 2,200. So you know what I'm going to go ahead and do is I can take that 300 and I'm going to add 50K onto that for a total of 350 that's being financed there. You know what I'm also going to do with that too is I'm going to take that 2%. And I'm also going to give this to Gail. I'm just using round numbers here. I don't want to pull out the calculator and get into all these actual calculations here. But I'm going to raise this up from 2% to say 5%. Right there. Okay, so now Gail then is now buying this house from me at 350 at 5%. Okay, I have it under contract for 300. 300K. The mortgage payment is the 2,000, right? But he can afford to pay me 2,200, right? So what happens to his payment? His payment goes into servicing company. I don't touch it. He doesn't pay me or anything. The servicing company pays the 2K to the bank. And the other 200 to me.
So basically you're looking for a buyer with bad credit and you're doing a wrap
Yep. So
Okay.
I'm wrapping in 50 grand, and I'm also wrapping in 3% there.
And how long does it take you to find somebody if you lock up a deal like this?
Sometimes not long at all.
Wow.
There's
okay.
certain places that to find these people really good and really quick. So we
I
all
mean,
understand.
this is a lease option, basically, and you're doing a wrap
No,
lease.
no.
How is it different?
Lease option, you still own the property. Lease option. Let's just do a 5-year lease option. So 5 years lease or rent that you still own with the option there to buy. This one here, I put it from contract. I made my, added in my money, and then I sold this to Gail. Okay. And I sold it to Gail. Do I own the property?
No.
Exactly.
But let me ask you this.
So who owns this now?
Say, well, right now it would be me.
Exactly.
But say for some stupid reason I couldn't afford the 2,200 because I lost my job or something, I default. Now is it your property again?
Yep. Comes back to me before the seller.
Okay. So then you're responsible for the bank payments and finding a new person to do this wrap on.
No, well, if you fail, then yeah, I'm putting
Right.
this in here to protect me and the seller, so the original seller doesn't have to deal with this.
Right.
It comes back to me, but yet remember, you came in and you paid me a 10K deposit, down payment. Actually, a deposit is deposit, but down payment. You came in, you paid me 10K down payment for this house. You took ownership. Gail owns the house. Okay.
And
If
there's people like Gail that would be willing to pay 350 even though it's only worth 300.
yeah, Gail, you got kids, right? You got a family, right?
Well, what he's looking for is somebody who can't get a house, a conventional bank
Under
loan or
traditional
something.
funding, yes.
So they're gonna pay premium to anybody. The question is, how far can you jack up the premium before they say no?
There's always people out there. So you
But
see what I did here? I took the
Mhm.
whole house that was not absolutely 100% not a deal. We all agreed that it was not a deal, right? Now look at this. I'm cash flowing on this thing $200 a month to myself, to me, and I don't own it. I don't pay taxes. I don't pay the insurance. I don't do anything of that. What happens is if Gail fails, I get the property back. Then I turn around and sell to somebody else. Again, down payment. Again, the down payment. And then and then if it happens again, then guess what? I get the property back again. This whole time I'm not owning the property.
so as long as you can find another buyer, it's actually not horrible for you if somebody defaults. If you can find another
Exactly.
buyer pretty quickly.
Because guess what? You paid me 10K, right? You failed. They're gonna come in and pay me 10K, right? I just made 20. Okay, so then now what do you think is also happening to this whole property over time? The money's
Well,
being paid down.
I would assume the house is appreciating. That's normally what happens.
Right. But we also know that, that the loan itself is for 300,000.
Oh, the loan's going down. Yeah.
Okay. Well, here's the thing though. We all know and look at all these numbers, all the same. You know how many people look at them in the backside? This house itself is going to be about almost $600,000. This is a $600,000 house. Why? Why is this a $600,000 house? Because if you do an amortization, and I will show you this here really quick. So you have the 300,000 today is what it's worth, right? at 2%, okay, over 30 years, okay, what happens to all that? Today, it's 300,000. Oops, I didn't want to erase. Today is 300,000, right? You pay it off tomorrow, it's still 300,000. What happens at 25 years? How much have you then paid for this whole house? Think about your credit cards. $100 purse or $100 product. You take the 5 months times 5 months to pay it off at, let's say, 20%. Okay. How much did that really cost you now? If you spend all that time, you go, hey, but I bought it at 100, but you're paying all that interest. Now you've paid 180 on that. So now you bought that at $100 today. Over the next 5 months, you've had to pay all that interest, and now it comes out to be 180. What do you think that house is coming out to? And I'll show you this here really quick.
And I didn't hear you say it, Chris, but I think the original on that was a subject to, right? So the original, because you're saying the mortgage payment, they kept it in place. So when you bought it from the original, you're buying it subject to, and then you're putting the wrap around the subject to.
Yep.
Is that, yes, okay.
So we're doing 30 years. Let's just say 2%. We're not going to have anything there. Just $2,000 for closing costs, whatever. Okay. Monthly HOA fees, no nothing. Homeowner insurance. So we won't even include that in there. Property taxes is 0. Do that there, 0. So this is what we're doing. Total interest expense. You're paying $95,000 in interest on that.
Mhm.
At the end of that 30 years at 2%, you're paying $95,000. So when that's said and done, in 30 years, you will have paid $400,000 for that house. So what do you think? How do you think that there will work if I take that and I make it 5%? Because I'm going to jump it up from the 2 to 5, right? Total interest expense right there. Still over that same time. And all I did, oh wait, can you guys see my screen? Hello?
I see a whiteboard, but I don't see.
Oh, okay. My bad, people. Because all I did was, okay, there we go.
Now it looks like Wilson.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so sorry about that. So just come in here to my mortgage calculator, 300,000. We're gonna put 10,000 down. So we're actually being, the principal is 290 right there. We're gonna do 30-year terms, 2% right there. And we are going to come all the way down here, $2,000 in closing costs. $95,000 right here is what you're actually paying at the end of that 30 years on that original mortgage. So now you're paying $400,000 for that house. Okay, so now remember, I'm going to turn around and sell this to Gail, and let's just say I don't even raise the price on there for you, but I'll raise it up to 5% interest. You're going to be paying an additional $270,000 on that 30 years. But if you can still manage those monthly payments, great. I don't care. I'm making money on that. The bank will make that 95, and I'll make anything above that 95 additional. So let me do this for a quick second. Let's look at our payment here. So all in all, like I said, in a wrap situation, the regular payment, the regular monthly mortgage payment here, based upon this the calculator here, is going to be $1,100 a month. Okay, that's what you're paying off to the bank. Guess what? If I raise this up to, let's just say 4%. If I raised this up to 4%. We went from 111 to 1,400. So I can make $300 a month right there. And I don't even own the property.
All right, so it's 8 o'clock, which is
Yep.
normally when we end, and I'm sure you can talk for another hour or two on this stuff.
I don't want to though either.
I know, but I did just want to let anybody ask any last minute questions before we sign off. Chris, I do want to say thank you. This was a last minute ask, and I think you did a great job. There's so much information here. I probably still have some questions myself, but I think I need to just rewatch it and absorb some more of the information first.
Right.
But does anybody else have any last questions for Chris here?
I appreciate it too a lot. And it's not that I don't want to ask a question, because Maria and I will get our questions together and then we'll get you back.
Yes.
But I don't want to open a can of worms. So I just want to tell you how much I appreciate it.
Okay. Absolutely. I'm more than happy to. And, you know, so you guys kind of understand that, like, even on those scenarios, it's like you can keep throwing out all these different things and it still changes the structure of the deal. They want to sell, but there's no pain. So it's going to be structured differently because they want more money. If they're in pain, they're willing to take less, you know, but again, it all depends on how you structure the deal. You know, so again, we can make that, you know, the Novation one, you know, so much up front. We can pay them 600, we can pay them the 540, we can make their monthly payments. I tell you what, I'll pay you the 600,000 and you continue to make those mortgage payments.
Yeah. I think the other thing that's what I think for all of us as investors, the important thing right now is these could be valuable pieces of information for landlords that are sick of what's happened the last year and a half and are like, I'm done. But they, you know, we can still creatively come up with opportunities for them. So I think that those are things to watch out for. I mean, or to be aware of and to who.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
Chris, just out of curiosity, how are you structuring kind of your JV? So let's just say Liz and I have been talking to a seller. They're really set on their price. We haven't been able to figure out a way to kind of like get them what they want. And we're like, Chris, you know what? Why don't you give them a call, see if you can work something out? Are you splitting the assignment fee? What kind of percentage are you looking to do to team up with another member, just so everyone kind of has an idea of what you're looking for in that kind of partnership if people have leads?
So essentially how I structure these out really quick, very simple. One, you know, is you guys bring me the lead. Okay. If at minimum, if I can structure a deal and I can close it and it goes into closing, that's when everyone's going to get paid. If you guys just bring me the deal and I can structure it, you guys don't want nothing else to do with it, that's fine. Then you guys will, you know, will obviously get a fee. Okay. You guys will get, you know, $1,000, 1,500, whatever it is. You're going to get something better than nothing. You know, if they're a motivated seller, that's fine. I can work with them. If you can't figure it out, that's fine. You can team up with me. You would at least get that bare minimum of an assign of a, you know, a submission fee, basically, you know, for the dead lead. Okay. The other way to make more money on it is if you can find me a buyer for it, then we would then be a JV partner. So I turn around and I got this property. The disposition of it is going to be a wrap. So Liz turns around and says, hey, I got somebody that can actually pay that. They're looking for a property over there. Guess what? They don't want to go through the they don't want to go through the hey there, little man. And so then people just don't want to go through the bank and stuff. So essentially, if Liz brings me a buyer, guess what? Well, then now we're a 50-50 on that. Our partnership is 50-50. If I have to bring somebody else in on my side to help out with that, you know, with that deal, they're getting half of, you know, they're getting out of my percentage. So Liz and I are still 50-50. So if you know, if I go to Liz or Liz brings me the deal and we go, okay, 50-50 here, she's bringing me a buyer, but it's actually Marie bringing Liz the buyer, and then they're going to split that fee. They're splitting that 50% of that fee with between the two of them. Same thing with me on my side. I'm going, whoever I bring in or I need to bring in is going to split my portion with me. Okay, whatever it is I structure up with them. And so with that, it makes it really easy for that. And, you know, like I said, that's your opportunity to be able to make more money, bring in a buyer and stuff. Guess what? If it's deemed a property I want to keep, guess what? Okay, great. You know, the assignment fee, let's just say, is $10,000. Great, I'll pay you that $5,000 to pay you out of that. You know, if you go, hey, you know what? Well, shit, I'd love to keep that. If you can structure like that, I'd love to keep that. Okay, great. Well, you know, again, $10,000 assignment fee. Guess what? 50-50 on that. You're paying me out $5,000. So very
right,
simple,
thank you.
very easy, not
Yeah.
not difficult at all. So
No, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Well, just one more thing before we leave too. I just want to say we are going, no, just real quick. We're
Yeah,
going
I know.
Monday nights. I said that, I think earlier. So we start August, what, 16th will be our first Monday night. Mia, don't worry. You'll just leave a little early to go dancing. I know you will figure it out. But I did want to say that I'm looking for a location, a new location, because we still can't go back to Tapestry. I don't love the idea of the in-person meetings being in a back of a restaurant, just because I feel like there's like less of that focused attention and like classroom learning environment. But if we have to do that for, you know, a couple times a month, I'll still be open to that. But if anyone knows of any other locations, offices, I mean, we have Workplicity, but that's really far south, and I don't think that that's going to be convenient for everyone. So if you guys know of anything, please let me know. I appreciate any help in finding a space. And like I said, I will be open to options in a restaurant, but definitely somewhere that has at least like a closed door, private room, where we could definitely cancel out the noise if we do end up in a restaurant. I know some people like it just because then they can order food and drinks and have it all in one. But anyway, that's my little spiel. So please reach out. Let me know if you have any suggestions, locations. And Liz has already given the peace symbols. So peace and love, y'all. And Chris, thank you again for doing this last minute.
Thank you.
I took like 2 pages of notes. So I know I'm going to be calling you back for answers to some questions, follow up.
right.
All right. So thank you guys. Have a great
And did I
night.
really even touch much on subject to or seller financing?
I mean, you did in the deals, you know, you mentioned it. So it was perfect.
Well, yeah, it's like mentioned, but I mean, you see how far away from it it is.
Yeah. No, it's great.
So, see
But,
you guys.
all right. Thanks, guys.
Good night.
Bye.